Hey, beautiful people, I'm back and I'm gonna do a reading for this year's Giller Prize winner, The Sleeping Car Porter by Suzette Mayr. You may recall that I was supposed to do a reading for all of the finalists for the Giller Prize. I fell behind, I only managed to do two, so I figured, hey, I might as well just do a reading for the winner. Now, I'm very glad that this won. Also, you may know that I was at the Giller Prize Gala, so I was present to see Suzette Mayr go up on stage and receive her prize, accept her award. And it was a really beautiful speech. It actually moved me to tears, and I know I was not the only one who felt that way. Also, I want to shout out to Carly, which I will link her Instagram handle below, who called this book as the winner, and she called it from the first moment that she heard about this book. So kudos to her, and I mean, that's pretty awesome because I think she predicted that even before it was on the long list. So she did a great job. And Carly, you can't say that I haven't given you your flowers, I guess. So I'm really happy that this book won. We follow a 1920s car porter on a very, very long train ride. It explores Black and queer history. So this is the 1920s where a lot of things weren't really going well for Black people or queer people. Now, I guess if you fast forward to 2022, are we really any different? Has the world really gotten a lot better? I don't know. Yeah, so with this book, it really it has like a sort of languid, kind of dreamy quality to it, which makes sense because the character in this book is sleep deprived, so it's got like a hallucinatory sort of vibe to it. So the language is very, very quiet, but then all of a sudden, when the language pops or a scene pops, it really pops and it sizzles. So I decided to choose like a sort of sizzling excerpt to read to you, and I'm gonna get into that. It's a bit steamy, so let's get into it. So, he rambled through more tree and bush, his skin blooming like a flower, the rustles of small animals around his feet, an occasional bat silhouetted up high, the hoot of an owl, mosquitoes clustering to his exposed skin as he slapped at them. Behind him, someone cleared their throat, a tall man leaning against a tree, his skin as indeterminate color in the dark. Leswick had tracked him in the dark. Baxter curled his fist, ready to fight. Leswick strolled toward him. "Do you have a match?" whispered Leswick, a new cigarette in his fingers. Baxter dipped into his pocket for a box of matches. Leswick took the match but didn't light his cigarette, just flipped the match back and forth around in his fingers, his breathing tight. Baxter held his breath, standing too close to Leswick, reading him, his nose in line with Leswick's chin, both giving the nod to their invisible contract. Leswick clenched his jaw, tucked the cigarette behind his ear, and leaned down and kissed Baxter square on the lips, their faces colliding, open-mouthed, starving. Men in the woods, men in laneways, are ravenous, silent creatures. Not that he had very much experience, 4 times before Leswick. 1 other time in the woods, 1 time in a lavatory, 2 times in a laneway, always in the dark. Maybe some other times he didn't want to talk about. Baxter's body lunged for every part of Nicholas Leswick, his tongue leaping into Leswick's mouth first thing so he could lick Leswick's teeth, his hard palate. They fumbled and groped each other's buttocks and cocks clumsy. They kissed and pumped, moved their mouths and fingers and selves on each other, into each other, in their silence. 2 figures flickering, then blinking out in the dark. The high bushes, the water relentlessly lapping at the shores of the dark river. They split apart as soon as they were done, slick and gasping, separating in the dark. Nicholas's unlit cigarette had moved from his ear and hung broken from the corner of his curled lips, his trousers slack as his long, lanky self receded back into the trees. Baxter's fingers silly and uncoordinated as he tried to button himself, tried to button down the glee. Leswick was a glorious, spindle-shanked man who smoked cigarettes in the woods long after the banks of the Red River. Now he really wouldn't sleep, his veins and arteries still steaming. He pulled up his blanket, pounded the flat pillow into a lumpy heap, trying not to think of Leswick's jiggling buttocks, the stretch of his chest and nipples, his long limbs folding and unfolding in the dark. So yeah, so that was a passage from this book. I mean, you gotta say that language is very, very beautiful. Now, I am really, like I said, really happy that this won the Giller Prize. Her speech was a very emotional one. I could feel that the room was like consumed with emotion. So definitely give this book a try. A very, very deserving winner. So happy that we could talk about this book and that this book will get more readership. And yeah, that's all I've got for now. I'm planning to do some other videos in the near future, and I will see you later. Bye. Take care. Peace and love.